All right. All right. Pretty nice backdrop, huh? This video is for everyone who has a dog that has separation anxiety. I'm Nick. I'm a professional dog trainer and I help people with their dogs. So hopefully this can help you too, because separation anxiety is not something to be taken lightly, although I would like to posit to you that there is a high likelihood that your dog is not clinically diagnosable with separation anxiety. It's on a spectrum. So the good news is that for 99% of you watching, things can get dramatically better if we take the right steps. And if you follow a strategy or a protocol to move in the right direction. And that's really why I'm making this video, is because I feel like a lot of dog training advice, specifically around separation anxiety, fundamentally misses the plot, okay? There are some side quests that I'll go over today that are going to help in certain situations, but fundamentally with separation anxiety, there is one thing that we need to focus on. And if we're not focused on that one thing, the rest of it doesn't really matter. So what is that one thing? Your dog needs to spend more time away from you. Let me put this another way. Your dog needs to spend, I'm getting some weird deja vu. Your dog needs to be okay with you not being around, which means we have to intentionally train them to be okay with you not being near them, right? So what that means is, for most people, it's probably going to be crate training. Now, we'll separate subject of crate training and all of the pros and cons, but almost every trainer will agree that crate training is a good thing. But it becomes a particularly useful tool when we are trying to work on separation anxiety, because it allows us time, measurable time, for the dog to be away from you, right? Now, I'm not advocating for sticking your dog in the crate for 8 hours a day, although sometimes that is the reality for some people. We want to take care of their needs. We want to see that they're we want to see that their needs are met. So we want to primarily focus on the dog spending more intentional time away from you. So what that means is we need to start setting a timer. We need to be on a schedule, okay? We need to set the dog up for success, okay? So if you have a puppy with separation anxiety, congratulations, because first of all, you're not alone. Second of all, you're way ahead of the game, and it's gonna get better for sure. If we're taking the right steps. So real quick, let's talk about those side quests, because here's some things that I hear about separation anxiety, as general advice that I see out there. Licky mats, enrichment toys, sniffy walks, all this stuff for dog anxiety that doesn't really get to the core of it. Now, those things can be useful, not the sniffy walks, but the enrichment toys, those can be useful. Let's say if we're working on the crate training and the dog's got some time in there alone, maybe something like a licky mat or a Kong with some frozen peanut butter in it. Those things can be helpful. But as an assistance to the time that they're spending, the structure, right? The structure of them, I hope this is making sense. You need to crate train the damn dog. And how do we do that? We follow a plan, okay? So we've got measurable objectives, okay, that we're moving towards. If you're not moving, if you don't have a plan in your mind, if you're not focused on the right thing, then the rest of it is not going to be helpful. So you got to focus on the dog actually spending more intentional time away from you. Let's call it independence time, okay? Now, I want to talk about another side quest. This one's actually more useful than the other ones. And this is how you behave around the dog when they're going to be separate from you. So every time you leave them, every time you come back, those are going to be opportunities for you to convince the dog that it's okay. And counterintuitively, what you need to do is shut up. You need to stop talking to the dog. You need to ignore it, right? When you leave and when you get back. Just don't acknowledge the dog, because for a dog who has a predisposition to being anxious when alone, the worst thing that you can do is convince them that the times where you're leaving is significant. So try to make it as insignificant as you can to be leaving. This is a part of the dog's life that they need to get used to, right? They need to get comfortable with the idea that you can come and go as you please. This is just the world we live in. So stop talking to your dog when you leave. Stop talking to them when you get home. If they're jacked up to see you when you get home, just give it a few minutes. Like if they're in the crate, you don't need to let them out as soon as you get home, okay? Especially if they're going crazy. So we can talk about cutting up the time, because fundamentally that's what's really going to help with the number one objective. I should write some of this stuff out. I need a whiteboard, but I couldn't resist. So the dog needs to spend more time, intentional time away from you. You need to shut up when you leave and when you get back. Maybe some of those enrichment toys are going to help while the dog's in the crate. If they're super bored, this can be helpful. But let's talk about another way to set them up for success while you're working on your main plot, right? Which is taking care of the dog's needs. I talked about it earlier. This is more intuitive, so you should understand this at least somewhat. It's going to be easier if the dog's tired, right? So we don't need to run them ragged to work on separation anxiety. But for a dog who has higher energy, it's definitely going to be helpful if they're getting an adequate amount of exercise. And I want you to take what you think is adequate amount of exercise in your head and double it. Like your dog needs double what you think is adequate amount. 2 walks a day, 15, 20 minutes. That's not going to cut it, especially for a dog who's got separation anxiety. If they play ball, you're playing ball. If they tug, you're tugging. If you can get them off, if they're off leash trained, if you can get them out on the trails, you can take them swimming, you name it. Like there's got to be an outlet for your dog with separation anxiety to really put their energy somewhere, because all of that anxiety is just potential energy, right? It's energy that otherwise could be going to something more useful, right? So channel it. Well, really put it somewhere to the best of your ability. I know that's hard for some of you if you live in an apartment or a busy city, and it's going to be difficult, but you need to do what you can to meet this. If you need to become a runner, you become a runner. If you need to start riding a bike, you start riding a bike. Don't do it for yourself, do it for the damn dog, because they are not going to get better if their fundamental needs are not being met, okay? So a big fundamental need of theirs is exercise. So that's gonna help, especially when we're working on the main thread, right? Which is probably crate time. It's intentional time away from you. Okay. All right. Separation anxiety, in and out. I think that's it. Maybe I got more to say.